Okay, happy people, let's construct a more durable and more stronger bicycle lock. From these basic materials, the rubber tube from the outside, the fiber core around the metal core of the U-lock, fixed with a sticky tape, with a stretchy sticky tape, and then to finish it off, to fix the rubber with those finger breakers. Let's do that for fun or just because it's more interesting. The first step to reinforce the bicycle lock is to wrap the glass fiber around the metal core. It's a strong metal core. Just to reinforce it with something that is more difficult to cut with a clipper cutter or a circular saw that would get entangled into this, and to give it an overall more solid structure that is more difficult to cut. Let's wrap this around step by step. The magic did happen. Now the fibers are wrapped around the metal core, and it's now more difficult to cut it with one tool, so in case the fibers get stuck into the tool that cuts the lock, it's going to be more difficult to cut, and in any case it looks more solid. Next step is to apply the sticky tape, the stretchable sticky tape around the fiber so it slides better into the rubber tube and fixes that. And additionally it provides another layer that you have to cut through if you want to cut the lock. Let's do that! This sausage is wrapped and ready to be cooked. The contents of the sausage are the metal core and the fiberglass fiber. Almost ready. The next step is to fit the core into the plastic tube. Let's try to fit it to cook the sausage and see if it fits or not. At this stage is really cooking, like cooking food or sausages. Let's heat up the rubber tube. Oh, lots of vapor. Let's heat up the rubber tube so that it's more flexible and more easy to apply to the lock, so that it bends nicer and you can fit the lock into it. Because the lock has a U shape and it's difficult to get it around this U shape if the plastic is not, or the rubber is not flexible enough. Okay, let's wait a little bit till it's heated up and then wrap it around. The rubber condom is on the metal lock. Now let's trim it a little bit step by step and fix it at one side and trim it at the other one, and see if it can fit into the lock step by step, just like any other thing. The good thing is that the soft and warm rubber is more flexible, so it fits nicer. You pull it at one side and wiggle it at the other one, and pull this one down so it fits. Now let's trim the edges and finish the project. Oh yeah, one side of the lock of the rubber tube is squeezed with a squeezy dizzy ring, so it's now fixed and cannot move around. Reinforced, more thick. is a 6 sausage, which is more difficult to cut, and there is also carbon fibers in the rubber tube, so it's more difficult to cut. You cut one, you still have to cut through all of them, and because it's fixed onto the metal one, so you have to cut like in a circular motion. And if you cut with the clips, you have to cut the fibers outside, fibers inside, and the metal core and the rubber, so it's more difficult to cut just with this squeezy tool. The hydraulic one, the circular saw, probably can do it, but you have to do it you have to use more time, which is not an optimal solution for the thieves, because the thieves want to be away very fast, or they risk to get in jail for a bicycle that costs you 50 euros. Why risk a jail imprisonment for such a cheap bicycle and a strong lock? So they probably move on and select a more easy target, and this is the main idea for why to reinforce the locks. And maybe some manufacturers will start to produce such locks so that we people don't have to create them at home. So one side is fixed, and now I can cut the other side. I have marked it with a pencil, so it's kind of equal, same height, and then I can cut and fix the other side, and then it's finished, just like that. The magic is done. This is the finished product. The reinforced lock with a rubber tube, nylon fiber, ceramic fiber, and a sketchy and stretchy rubber. Basically a lock with a condom on, which is safer and protects the lock from procreating into making more locks. I hope you get the main idea, that you apply multiple materials, and it's also more easy to handle because it's larger to grip, almost the same weight, because the materials that were used in this production were light. Feels more solid, looks more solid, more difficult to break. In case you want to break it, it will require more time than the other locks, and it's a harder target. So the thieves and the busy thieves and the fearful thieves will move on to the easier one and avoid being caught and sent to the jail or paying fines. Only idiots will try to break these locks, or drunk people. I hope the manufacturers of bicycle locks will start to make locks with multiple materials, so that we all can enjoy high security locks that are light and flexible and strong and unbreakable for simple thieves and bad people, so that cycling can become more culturally easy and less stressful, and so that the people can buy bicycle and then don't worry about where they park and how they park it on the street everywhere, so that the people are not afraid to leave their precious bicycles on the street. We need better locks, people, so talk about it, send it to people who are involved in lock manufacturing. Some Chinese factories, please look it up. Please make locks that have multiple materials, maybe even inside of the metal core and outside, with industrial military fibers, with textiles, whatever you can find and whatever you can apply, ceramic, metal, fiber, cables and everything in one lock. That would be perfect. I hope it helps, and now let's go see some fun. Okay, this is how the lock looks on the bicycle. Pretty solid, more difficult to cut because you have to apply the clippers or the tool in an awkward position. And just for the fun, there are two locks. One here, one over there, so you'll have to cut two locks. One for the night and one mobile. So one stays in the same spot all the time for the night, and one for the shopping or for the voyages. So it's good enough. And now let's compare this lock to other locks that are available on the market. For example, this lock or this lock, which is more difficult to break? Or this one, or this cable lock, another cable lock. This is the similar U-lock, or this cable and metal lock, same size, different. Inside is just a cable, but inside of this one is a steel core. And then chain locks. For example, chain locks, which is more difficult to break, chain or a hardened U-lock steel with carbon fiber inside and the fibers. Or this chain lock, the chain itself is smaller than the core of this U-lock. Or this U-lock. Yes, so it's a much harder target to break than other locks. So I hope the lock manufacturers will start to make locks like this, so we all can have fun while cycling. Or you just keep the bicycle locks and the bicycles all together and get an electric car and charge it with a cable. But then again, there are other problems with cars, maintenance, where you park and whatnot. So even if you don't get a bicycle and don't have a lock, you still have issues to solve. And I guess it's more issues to solve with a car than with a bicycle. Keep on cycling, people. This is the chai man. He sells chai on the street. Just from the bicycle can sell chai and little bit of bread. And he's selling chai to the mango lady. Chai for 10 rupees, bread for samosa for 10 rupees, just straight from the bicycle. This is India, trading in India. Bye bye, chai man. Have a good day.